There is a new piece of intel in The Reckoning that has huge, absolutely huge storyline implications going forward. And it has to do with the assassination attempt by Weaver, who was being helped by Samantha Maxis at the time, and they were trying to assassinate Richtofen. But it went wrong, and that's what killed his family. I'm sure you remember that from Cold War. It's what this whole story about here at the end of Reckoning is. You can bring Richtofen's family back. But the big question now is, were they set up to fail to begin with? Okay, so first things first, we're going to get to the actual intel here in a second, but how do you get this piece of intel? Well, you have to play as Weaver. That's an absolute must, and you are not allowed to go into the research lab. So if, starting from Spawn, instead of going to mutant research, just go the other way till you go to quantum computing, okay? From there, you can go and you can go across to where we are now, as you're seeing on screen here, with the android assembly plant, and then you can go upstairs from here over to the other tower again, and then you can get the pack punch turned on, power turned on, all that kind of stuff. Just do not go into mutant research until round 13. Then when you do get to round 13, you're probably going to want to get down to one zombie or so for this if you're playing solo, or ideally you're playing with a friend and you can just sit there and listen to this intel. But I'm going to play for you a clean version of it in just a second here, so you're going to be able to hear it. But let's go over to the mutant research lab right now. All right, so this is from the Forsaken room, the entity where he is trapped. We're going to go across here, of course, to the executive offices, and then we're just going to drop down into mutant research, okay? All right, now that you're down in the lab, go into the room where Richtofen's family is in the tank. And then Sam, S-A-M, is going to say, Weaver, I have something I need to tell you, something along those kinds of lines. So this is the point you want to get down to one zombie, or like I said, hopefully maybe you playing with somebody and they can hold the zombie for you and you can just listen to this. Behind the tank with Richtofen's family, there is a speaker on the wall. All you're going to need to do is interact with it, and then the intel starts playing. Let me play the clean version of it in its entirety for you right now.
Weaver, there's something very important I need to tell you.
Kinda busy, Sam.
Just listen. It's about the man who recruited Edward Richtofen into the CIA. A man named Kruger. They first met in Vietnam, when Eddie was a fighter pilot.
And?
Kruger saw something in him, and put him to work in the Directorate of Operations. Kruger's secretary, Mary, would eventually become Eddie's wife. She noticed things about Kruger. Troubling things. He was secretly funneling weaponry to the French syndicate in Avalon, pocketing the funds and covering up their human trafficking operations. She gathered evidence against Kruger, but kept Eddie out of the loop for his own good.
What's this got to do with me?
Mary sought whistleblower protections. Kruger learned that Maxis was the case officer assigned to secure her and young Samuel at a safe house.
Holy shit. Do you mean?
Yes. Kruger silenced Mary by arranging the hit you carried out. He lied to you about the target. It was not your fault. You and Maxis were set up, and Kruger made sure his friend, Eddie, blamed you.
This whole time, all the shit Richtofen put us and himself through over a fucking lie.
I just thought you should know, regardless of whom you decide to help today.
This is absolutely massive news. Keep in mind that Cold War Zombies, the entire thrust of it, is that we're working for the secretive director of this Requiem project in the CIA, and we don't know who it is. We're being put through our paces over and over and over again. Like, Samantha literally gets sent to the Dark Ether, where she is attempting, basically the whole point of it is that she'll be killed while she's in there. We go and rescue her from the Dark Ether in Firebase Z. We pull her out, and then from there she goes to the headquarters of Requiem and is pretty much tortured from there on out for the rest of the Cold War Zombies. And it's because, as we learn at the very, very, very end of Cold War, when all of our crew has been arrested by the director, they're all, remember the final cutscene of The Forsaken is all of our crew, Carver, Weaver, Dr. Gray, Dr. Strauss, being arrested and carted off to God knows where, some black site somewhere, which turns out we know where it was in Terminus when we get to Black Ops 6. But also, Samantha was being tortured throughout the entire time that she was there. She was being tested to see exactly how strong her powers are and being tortured because it turns out the director was Richtofen. He knew that Weaver and Samantha Maxis were behind killing his family, and now it might have all been intentional. Like, they did it as an accident. They were trying to get Richtofen. Weaver and Maxis were told that Richtofen's family wouldn't be anywhere near him, so it was safe to do the assassination attempt now. So that's why we went ahead with the operation, and now it turns out that maybe it was all a setup, and Richtofen and Samantha and Weaver were basically just pawns in a game for somebody else to get what they wanted for their nefarious purposes. It has absolutely, like I said, massive storyline implications going forward. I mean, we're kind of okay at the end of Black Ops 6 because we bring Richtofen's family back, but we don't know, is that the canon, quote-unquote canon ending? Is that the ending that Treyarch is going to decide is the actual ending, or is it going to be the other ending when you fight Richtofen at the end and you get Sam, SAM, her body, which turns, of course, is Samantha Maxis' body. So we don't know which one is the real ending, or if they're somehow going to incorporate both of these endings into one kind of thing going forward. It's all kind of up in the air. We'll have to wait and see. Unfortunately, we don't have to wait too long. Black Ops 7 is coming in just a couple of months. The reveal is next week. But this intel here has so many implications story-wise that it's hard to comprehend just how many things are at stake just listening to this. Oh, and by the way, this entire bit of intel from Sam could be complete BS. She could absolutely 100% just be trying to manipulate us so that she can get a body and quote-unquote become a real girl, as a different piece of intel says in Reckoning. So this bit of intel here really, for me, ramps up the story in a very interesting, very kind of fun way. There's a lot of things that can happen with this. As I was saying before, I mean, Samantha was tortured because of this, the result of what happened from that operation. Weaver was actively trying to be killed by Richtofen. He not directly, but he kept sending him into these missions. Richtofen kept sending Weaver into these missions, these zombies missions, trying to get him killed because of what happened to his family. And now it might have all just been a setup. It really wasn't Samantha's fault. It was not Weaver's fault. They were doing their due diligence. They did their job correctly. It was just that they were set up to fail, and they were set up to kill Richtofen's family, Mary specifically, because of the information that she had. So it's a very interesting way to end this game leading into Black Ops 7. And like I said, fortunately, we don't have to wait too long until we get to Black Ops 7 to see what happens with this. Now, it's storyline. They're going to string it out. They're not going to just tell us, boom, 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 from chapter 1 to chapter 2 to chapter 3. We're going all over the place. It's zombies, man. We're going to jump around. But I think this really opens things up in a very interesting way, and I will say it right now. We're told, like, round 1 in Reckoning that, hey, you know what? Actually, Samantha Maxis, our Samantha Maxis, is dead. She was consumed by the Forsaken. She died in the Dark Ether. I don't buy it for a second. So I don't know if we'll get her back in Black Ops 7, or maybe the final, image in that game will be like we had the, Primultimus crew come back at the end of Reckoning. We might get Sam walking through a portal at the end of Black Ops 7. I don't think she's gone, though. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think of this bit of intel and what it does to the story now. I think it's fascinating. Overall, the BO6 story was kind of meh for me, but this really, it sends me out on a good note. I'll say that for sure, and I am absolutely looking forward to getting more story in Black Ops 7. Drop a like, subscribe, guys, and I will catch you in another one soon. Later.